So let the other person see that you are accustomed to walk or walking confidently into offices, and that you don't expect to be keep waiting. So it is also trying to convey that you are also valuing time when compared to the other person. So you do have your own job or task which has to be completed for the day, and you can't wait for hours together. And quality that you try to carry when getting into the interview hall and shaking hands with the interviewer, you're trying to project or you are trying to expose that you are equally important. People who walk slowly or take long strides convey that they have plenty of time on their hands, are not interested in what they are doing, or have nothing else to do. So, the normally people who walk slowly or take long strides, they are trying to convey that they have plenty of time on their hands and are not interested in what they are doing or have nothing else to do. So it is some sort of laziness or trying to say that they are idle and want to be idle. So next, the most important thing as equivalent to that of entry into the interview hall is the handshake. So keep your palms straight and return the pressure you receive. So always better to keep your palms straight and return the pressure you receive. So it should be a normal pressure and not a hard pressure while you shake hands with the interviewer. So let the other person decide when to end a handshake. So it is not that forcibly removing the hand when you are trying to handshake, and it's leave the other person to decide when to remove the hands. So voluntarily pulling the hand will not be a good gesture or trying to convey a wrong body language. So never shake directly across the desk. So this is another important thing one has to keep in mind. So when you are shaking hands with the interviewer, it's better that please do not shake directly across the desk. So that may not be a good gesture. Use a person's name twice in the first 15 seconds and never talk for more than 30 seconds at a time. So, as far as the interview is concerned, when questions are being asked, so it is always clear whether a single word to be uttered as an answer or few lines or few sentences have to be answered is the main point. So, as per practice or a standard practice that is normally carried in interviews is, so try to give an answer which is of few lines instead of explaining in detail for more than 1 minute or 2 minutes. So please keep it precise, and also it depends upon the question that is being asked. If it is about self or if it is about the strength or quality one possesses, it's always better to answer within 30 seconds. If you are taking time more than 30 seconds, then it shows your lack of interest or maybe trying to show your fear. So it's better to answer the question in 30 seconds length so that it will be precise, and at the same time it will try to pass on the clear information. And the next thing is, unless otherwise they ask for a detailed information, there is no necessity to drag the answer for more than a minute or two. When you sit, so this is the next part as far as the interview is concerned. If you are compelled to sit in a low chair directly facing the other person, turn it away 45 degrees from the person to avoid being stuck in the reprimand position. So always try to sit in a low chair directly facing the other person, and it should be a 45-degree angle and from the person to avoid being stuck in the reprimand position. So, not trying to get locked or trying to be out of figure or out of focus, it's better to keep yourself at a normal distance and in a normal posture. If you can't angle the chair, angle your body instead. Suppose if there is no option to adjust the chair position, it's better to make your body flexible so that this will give you more comfort. Next, seating areas. If you are invited to sit in an informal area of the person's office, such as informal coffee table, this is a positive sign because 95% of business rejections are delivered from behind a desk. So never sit on a low sofa that sinks so low and it makes you look like a giant pair of legs topped by a small head. If necessary, sit upright on the edge so you can control your body language and gestures and angle your body to 45 degrees away from the person. So a low sofa sinks so low and it looks like a giant pair of legs topped by a small head. So it's better sit upright on the edge rather than relaxing back so you can control your body language and gestures. So, what sort of gestures one has to carry? So, people who are cool, calm, collected, and in control of their emotions use clear, uncomplicated, and deliberate movements. So, that is very, very important as far as the gesture is concerned. So, with the open hands or with the straight faced body and stretched hands, as the case may be, or the factors that is being displayed and it shows the emotion and how uncomplicated and how deliberate it is. So mere ideal position or gesture will have a different meaning and to avoid such things, to convey a proper message to the interviewer, the gesture should be in such a manner to indicate positive information or positive gestures to be carried out so that interviewers are convinced or happy about, and when appropriate mirror the other person's gestures and expressions. So by sitting posture and the way how the other person reacts, so one can understand what is expected from the interviewee. So as an interviewee, try to see the other person's observation or other person's expectation and act accordingly will give you a positive outcome. Distance. So next important thing as far as an interview, job interview is concerned, distance to be maintained. Respect the other person's personal space, which will be largest in the opening minutes of the meeting. So always try to maintain adequate distance from the interviewer so that it conveys the due respect one is trying to give, and which will be the largest opening in the opening minutes of meeting. If you move too close, the person will respond by sitting back or leading away or using repetitive gestures such as drumming the fingers. So, just try by thumping the desk or drumming the fingers on the table, one is trying to see the closeness of the candidature. So, it is better to maintain a distance away from the interviewer to show the respect. So, as a rule, you can move closer to familiar people but further back from new ones. So, this is a valid point and a very, very important point. So, only in case of intimate cases, you need to maintain a distance of 15 to 45 centimeters, and if it is personal, around 0.46 to 1.22 meters, and if it is social 1.23 3.6, and in public 3.6 meters. So this will be the right thing as far as an interview is concerned. So when adequate distance is maintained, so that gives, yeah, better image to the interviewer. And once the interview gets over, pack your things calmly and deliberately, not in a frenzy. Shake hands if possible, turn and walk out. So it's better to carry the folder what you are carrying or a bag what you are carrying with you, and try to pack up in a cool and calm manner and deliberately, but not in a frenzy. Shake hand if possible and turn and walk out. When you get to the door, turn around slowly and smile. It is far better that they recall your smiling face than your rear end. So the smiling face also plays a major role as far as the interview is concerned. If the door was closed when you entered, close it behind you as you leave. So, as a matter of courtesy or respect, once you leave the hall, and if it was closed while you were being interviewed, it's better to close the door before leaving or after leaving. People will always watch you from behind as you leave, so if you are a man. So make sure you have shined the back of your shoes. This is very important. So while wearing the shoes, applying the polish or making ensuring that the shoes are shining is very very important from all angles, so that even after the interview, if you are walking out of the interview hall, people will try to identify whether you have polished the shoe from behind. This is an area many men neglect and women are critical of this. So it's equally important that the backside of the shoes also to be shining as far as appearance is concerned. So let us have a quick recap. So what has to be done in the reception area, and what has to be done at the entry level, and how the approach has to be, how the hand has to be shaken, and what has to be followed when you sit, and what are the seating areas discipline to be maintained, and what sort of gestures you have to carry while being asked to sit, and what sort of distance to be maintained between the interviewer and the interviewee, and while getting out or at the time of exit, what has to be done. So all these things are mandatory aspects which has to be carried by one while attending a job interview.